Moving on, this week, 3 Republican state senators filed a lawsuit against Secretary of State Lavon Griffin-Valade and Democratic Senate President Rob Wagner. The reason they did that? Well, because they want to run for re-election, and the voter-approved Measure 113 disqualifies them from doing that, according to the legal opinion of the Secretary of State. Now, Measure 113 was the bill passed by voters to try and avoid boycotts of the Oregon legislature that shut the place down this year and in years past. Lawmakers with 10 or more unexcused absences are out. They cannot run for re-election, according to the law. Who decides if an absence is excused? The Senate President. Now, we've told you about the lawsuit in state court regarding Measure 113, where several GOP senators are challenging the specific language of the measure and what it means about when they can run for re-election. But this is different. This new lawsuit is in federal court because it hinges on the U.S. Constitution. Senators Brian Boquist, Cedric Hayden, and Dennis Linthicum argue that Griffin-Valade and Wagner infringed on their First Amendment right to free expression and 14th Amendment guarantee of equal protection under the law. Their attorneys wrote, plaintiffs have a First Amendment right to speech, including a right to express their views through political protest. Being disqualified from the ballot would chill a person of ordinary firmness from continuing to express their views through political protest. Remember, Measure 113 says that any lawmaker who misses 10 or more legislative sessions, quote, without permission or excuse, is disqualified from holding the office once their current term is over. These senators say they did have excuses, but Senate President Wagner would not accept them. Now, according to the Oregon Capitol Chronicle, which does great work, by the way, the absence process goes like this. Senators turn in forms requesting an excused absence and providing a reason. Then Wagner would check a box indicating excused or not excused. Historically, most absences are excused. But when the Republican walkout began May 3rd of this past year, the Chronicle reports that Wagner marked some absences as excused and some not. One Republican was excused to go on a tour with Governor Kotek, but Cedric Hayden was not excused when he requested an absence to protest. And 2 days later, Wagner announced he would only excuse absences for extraordinary circumstances. And this federal lawsuit argues that the process for excusing absences gives Wagner all the power, and it claims that he abused it. There are no legislative rules stating what can be excused and what cannot. No hearings, no appeals. And attorneys lay out a timeline trying to prove that Wagner used these absences as punishment for senators who walked out. Attorneys claim that between January 17th and May 2nd, Wagner excused every single absence requested. They claim that many times during that span, senators were absent without filling out the form even, but Wagner excused them anyway. But that changed then when the walkout started. On May 5th, the lawsuit claims Wagner retroactively unexcused the absence requests from senators who walked out, requests that he had previously accepted. Lawyers writing the definition of an unexcused absence remains arbitrary and unknowable, and the punishment for accumulating 10 unexcused absences is severe. And then religion comes into play. Senator Hayden is a Seventh-day Adventist who observes the Sabbath on Saturdays. Senator Boquist is a Catholic who goes to Mass on Sundays. They both argue as the Senate was trying to wrap up the budget, Wagner punished them with unexcused absences on those weekend days when they were practicing their religion. And that's just their First Amendment argument. When it comes to the 14th Amendment, lawyers say the due process clause was violated because they were not treated equally, that they had no chance to appeal once their absence was marked unexcused. So, what do these senators want? Well, first, the federal judge to clear them to run for re-election. Linthicum and Boquist want to run in 2024. Hayden has until 2026. But it also asks the court to declare the constitutional right to protest is a valid reason to miss Senate floor sessions, which, come on, effectively would rip out all the teeth from Measure 113. Now, for their part, the Secretary of State's office told us, you know, we're looking forward to a speedy resolution for clarity on implementing Measure 113. And the Senate President's office told us, no comment.